Hi, Alex. I'm doing well, sir. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Lovely to get the chance to chat again. I think the first thing I want to ask then is you had some well-deserved time off last year, and
Yeah.
we welcomed you back to our screens at the tail end, and we've had you with Oscar ever since. And obviously, there's the stuff going on with Rick and Lacey at the moment as well. Talk to me about how refreshing it was to get that breakaway because you really haven't had it, and how you wanted to get your creative lined up for when you returned. WrestleMania season.
Um, I definitely think the break was much needed. I definitely needed to handle personal things, but it really just put things into perspective. Like being gone, I really missed my job. Like I mean, it was the first time since 2012 that I was spending the night every single night in my own bed, which was super weird, but it just kind of gave me a chance to reboot, reset, and then I think come back in the best shape I've ever been in. Probably because I gave my body a break, and took probably like a 9 to 10 week hiatus from the gym. Um, but creatively, when I came back, to bring the Oscar rivalry full circle from thinking about WrestleMania 34 to being in her corner was mind blowing. Like to me, Oscar's always been my mountain. But then while I was away, seeing her be the backbone of the Raw Women's division, her being the champ, she's exactly where she should be. But with it being Mania season, I really feel like I don't know what's going to happen. I don't. Right now, Asuka's the champ, and I'm just, waiting in line or my turn for that opportunity. But as of right now, I don't like the title's where it should be, and it's in good hands. And in regards to the tag team championships, we will be defending them this weekend at Royal Rumble, and we'll see how that goes. I think Shayna and Nia as a team have come extremely far together, and their kind of sisterly friendship adds a different dynamic, and it's extremely entertaining. As for my dad and Lacey, um, yeah, I didn't see that coming, to be honest. Not with I think I've just been so focused on building my own legacy, adding to my father's legacy, protecting my father's legacy, um, as well as our relationship on screen coming full circle since 2015. I really didn't, yeah, that was out of left field for me.
Let's flip over to the other side of the world and let's come to Nims in Australia over at SCN Radio.
Good morning, Charlotte. Greetings from Australia. How are you going?
Hi, Nims. I'm doing well.
That's what I like to hear. So with the Rumble coming up, you actually mentioned you've got the match there, but you're also doing double duty. You're going to be in the Rumble as well. Now, we've got a lot of females representing Australia proudly. You've tangled with Rhea Ripley very famously, and also the Iconics, but there's also other Aussie females like Toni Storm and even Indy Hartwell who are doing some great stuff in NXT that could make their mark in the Rumble. Because you've already got a match at the Rumble, as well as having to deal with 29 other women, do you sort of not fear, but do you have to prepare extra for the women that you might not know?
If anything, I think taking an opportunity to watch the Dusty Classic in full would probably be my best tool to prepare for anyone that I really haven't had the opportunity to face. Wow, that's a crazy list I didn't realize it was that many Australians. I started with Emma to Neil, so it's crazy. That's awesome.
Well, hopefully they won't give you too much trouble. But another thing I do have to ask, you did wrestle in front of 70,000 Australians at the MCG back in the day. I just want to ask, what were some of your memories of that match being? Because for us, it was a huge moment, and for you to be one of the first matches on the card, was there a lot of pressure on you?
Well, I'd been in front of a crowd like that before. Like, nothing gets bigger than WrestleMania 32, right? But I think for me, whether it's 12 people or 101,000 people, I have the same feeling, the same motivation, the same nervousness. But what made that so cool was the fact that it felt like a WrestleMania. That's how big it was. It wasn't like your typical live event overseas. It was an actual, like, it felt as big as a WrestleMania.
Let's come next to Luis Rodriguez over in Mexico.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
Hola.
¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Muy bien, muchas gracias. Charlotte, what are the difference between the Charlotte Flair who won the Royal Rumble last year with the current Charlotte Flair? What progress do you make, or what progress do you see on the women's roster? Do you think that it will be just difficult to win this Royal Rumble? Do you have any candidates for this women's Royal Rumble?
I think every year the Royal Rumble gets more difficult due to how deep and experienced the division gets. I mean, now you have Bianca Belair on SmackDown. Now Bayley doesn't have a title, so she'll be in the Royal Rumble. Raw side, you have a repeat, Shayna. And then I don't know whether or not she'll be entering, but I could see, you know, Rhea Ripley making a surprise entrance. Not that last year we didn't have the depth, but this year it just seems like there's so many more players that are in favor of winning, as well as Alexa Bliss and her new character dynamic. Yeah, I feel like this year it's almost like it could really go to anybody. It's just who's able to outlast all, opponents.
Let's come next to Kenny McIntosh. Kenny.
Hey, Charlotte, how's it going?
Hi, Kenny. Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Looking forward to the Rumble on Sunday. I wanted to pick up from, you mentioned that Asuka was your mountain in WWE, and you guys have such a great history. Like, you broke her undefeated streak at WrestleMania in 2018, then you took the SmackDown Women's title from her right before WrestleMania in 2019. Can you talk a little bit about you being on that end of those two experiences? Because obviously for Asuka, character-wise, they were kind of points of rebuilding afterwards. How did you feel about both of those experiences, and did they add to a potential third big singles match down the line?
Well, I don't think so. In terms of Mania, right? What I think was so cool about Mania is Asuka and I had never touched. And she had already built this incredible, I don't want to use the word legacy, but I mean, she had the undefeated streak. Was known worldwide, traveled worldwide. Won the first ever women's Royal Rumble. So it was more of a like the story was so basic, right? You had myself and what I had done, and then you had this undefeated streak, right? But right after Mania, I mean, the Aussies helped Carmella beat me, right? So it was like a restart for me as well as also what she was doing, right? So then going to WrestleMania 35, where I beat her before, that was also like there was no build, no other story. It was just a title match, going towards, what ultimately was the ending of WrestleMania 35. So whatever story Asuka and I have been in, it's been a part of other stories as well, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I would love to have another rivalry with Asuka, but when you have, like the great stories have those like 3-month pay-per-view runs, like back to back to tell different stories. Like Asuka and I we've had these incredible moments, but not a whole lot of build up to them.
Let's come next to Craig over at TV Plus in South Africa. Craig, if you just hit unmute, there we go.
Hey, Charlotte, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. Okay, obviously the WWE had plans to have fans at the Royal Rumble, but that's, again, COVID has ruined that. Do you think not having fans is going to affect the atmosphere with like something like the Rumble, where everyone is excited about who's coming in next? Do you think it's going to have an impact, or are you guys going to go out and be even bolder with your performances?
Well, I think COVID or no COVID, you should always want to be bold. And the Thunderdome that we have created, or that WWE has created, to have fans be able to, it's not Zoom, but be able to log in, is still is as exciting. It's like making the best of what we have. But I hope no one, just because they're not there in the seats doesn't mean they're not there just as excited to watch their favorite superstar at home.
We're going to come next over to Italy. We'll come to Luca at Project Nerd in Italy.
Hi, Charlotte. Thank you for your time. I was curious to know if you have any Royal Rumble match and moment that sticks out in your mind as your favorite, because we know the Royal Rumble is one of the most unpredictable match in history. So I was curious, what's your best ever in your mind?
Well, I could either say my dad winning or myself. You could put either.
Your dad's one was pretty great. It's one of my favorite, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy, like going back and rewatching, realizing how many moments are like lines that are still relevant from that Rumble, like with a tear in my eye, or like mirror, mirror on the wall. Yeah. I mean, I know it's my dad, but still, I think he'd have to be my favorite moment.
We're going to come next to Faisal over at UFM over in the Middle East.
Yes, hi Charlotte Flair. You're absolutely one of my favorite WWE superstar. I'm so happy and glad to have this time with you. So my question is, you and Becky Lynch, you did amazing matches before, but I'm dreaming to have another match. But this time, I want it to be big. I want it to be a dream. I'm dreaming to having this match in Saudi Arabia, and I want to know your opinion about it.
Oh, that sounds amazing. And I would be honored, and I know she would be as well. Yeah, I would love that.
Yes,
Maybe
and
a
good luck.
poll, actually. Like if Becky's not back yet, yeah, I would love just to have the opportunity to perform there.
It will be amazing, and good luck in the Royal Rumble that will be exclusive in WWE Network.
Thank you so much, sir.
Look at Faisal doing our promo as well. Unbelievable. Right, we're going to come back to the UK. Let's head to Alistair over at Metro.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Alistair.
Good. Yeah, how are you getting on?
Good, sir.
Good. I saw a clip recently where you were talking about wanting a big sort of character-defining moment, and you alluded to Alexa Bliss's dynamic. I was wondering if something kind of that far out left field is something that would creatively intrigue you at some point.
So I think about that all the time. Like, what would that look like for me? And it's scary, right? Because the package of like how I see my character, it's so polished. Like it really would be like, is darker makeup and darker robes just, is that a big enough switch? Like I can't imagine not having the larger than life glamorous entrance, you know, like that's part of it. Like what does that, like once you go so far one way, it's really hard going back the other, right? So is it subtle changes? Yeah, but that's something I've been thinking about in the last few weeks, because I just personally feel like the last couple years there hasn't, like, for instance, on SmackDown, when Bayley turned to the bad guy, right, and debuted her new look, it was like, well, all of a sudden, what makes me good? Like, I felt that as a character. Like, well, why now am I the good guy just because she's bad? Like, why do the fans want to cheer me now? And then, like, tagging with Becky Lynch on Raw, it's like, well, wait. This woman just kicked my ass for 2 years and made fun of me. But why, like, why the change of heart? Like, I feel like I just haven't had I haven't had that defining moment. Okay, I am definitively good. I am definitively bad. Like, as of right now, since I feel like before 35, it's just like, okay, I'm Charlotte Flair. Take me or leave me. And that's kind of how I've played it the last couple years, because I know I'm a star.
We're going to come next to Spain, and we'll head to Vicente over at Marca.
Hola, hola, Charlotte. Hello from Spain.
Hello.
Well, I would like to ask you, now that we have the Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday, is always some new surprises, as we already discussed here. And for example, Ronda Rousey a few years ago. And now that we know that Ronda is training to get back into the ring as soon as possible, do you think that WWE needs someone like Ronda Rousey right now?
Oh, need is a very strong word. Do I think Ronda adds to the division? 100%. But need, no. We have an incredible list of already established stars and ones that are, excuse me, ones that are on the rise. So need is a strong word, but do I think she brings a lot to the table? 100%.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll come next to Eric over at man.tv in Germany.
Hey, Charlotte. Thanks for your time. And sorry for my damaged camera.
Oh, no, it's fine.
My question is, in War Talk, you said that one thing you always wanted to do was to protect your father's legacy. In the Royal Rumble match, there could be the situation that you not only have to fight Lacey Evans, but also keep an eye on your father at the ringside too. What is your game plan for this situation? Would you?
Oh, my dad's gonna be ringside at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I hope so.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, would you fight against Lacey Evans and your father if there is no other way to win the Royal Rumble?
Would I hide?
Yes.
Do you want to reword the question? Do you think I would hide from my dad and Lacey Evans?
I don't know.
100% no.
Okay.
They should. If I was them, I would be hiding.
Okay.
We're going to come next to Michael over at Lucha Libre Online.
Hola, Charlotte. ¿Cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Y tú?
Todo muy bien por acá en Puerto Rico. It is a pleasure always speaking with you. Thanks to Joel. I wanted to know your opinion about the NXT women's brand. It's been stated by Triple H and even in the Twitter page that NXT has currently the best women's division in the planet. Do you think this statement is correct, or where does this leave the Raw and SmackDown women's division?
I think Triple H has every right to say that. I mean, he is, I want to say, such a proud papa of the NXT brand, because that's kind of how we labeled him as well when we were there. I think whatever division you are in as a talent, or say in a role like Triple H over the division, you should say you're the best. If you don't say you're the best and you don't believe you're in the best, you're in the wrong industry.
Perfect. Thank you for your time.
Like, okay, thanks.
Sorry.
Oh no, I just hope you did that. You understood what I was saying. Like, he should say they're the best on the planet, but that doesn't mean that I'm not going to say the Raw division is the best, or Sasha is going to say the SmackDown division is the best. Like, you should feel that way. Thank you.
We're going to come next to Jack at the Inner Sanctum over in Australia.
G'day, Charlotte. How are you going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Just going back to last year, working with one of our girls, Rhea Ripley. I just wanted to know, what was your favourite thing about working with her, and what was she like to work with?
I think my favorite thing was she brought it at WrestleMania. She wasn't timid, handled the pressure extremely well. And I know she probably dreamed of her first WrestleMania being in front of 90 something plus people, but I think she over delivered, and it was awesome to see.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
We're going to come next to... Oh, I just had it. We're going to come next to the UK. Let's go with Stephanie Chase at Digital Spy.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to ask you about your dad is obviously one of the most confident and braggadocious wrestlers of all time. And you're at the point now where your accomplishments rival his, but do you find it harder as a woman to be accepted, or do you get more criticism if you exude that same confidence and be so self-assured and proud of all your achievements?
I don't know. Do you think people hate me because of it?
I think people are definitely harsher on the female, confident females, for sure.
I love quotes. Like, I love looking at Instagram on quotes, and I do feel like, so if you say you're good, or you act a certain way, or hold your head high, or say, you want it all, like, that could be taken as, oh, she has a big head, or wow, that ego, or it's kind of like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. But I think when you're in this business, you have to develop thick skin. Now, not saying you're going to feel that confident every single day, but I do think that it's easier to label females with those examples that I said instead of the men. Like, why? Oh, well, she's full of herself. Like, no, she's just confident and knows what she wants.
We're going to come next to Miguel over at Mundo Deportivo in Spain.
Hey, Charlotte, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much. So we have Royal Rumble right around the corner. And I would like to know, if you're one of the last two women standing, who would you like the other opponent to be?
Oh, man. That's tough. So the second Rumble, it was Bex. The third was Shayna. I don't know. There's just so many. I mean, I could pick a wild card and say someone, you know, if someone comes from NXT or on the from Raw or SmackDown. That's tough. I honestly don't know who I guess I'd say I love how far along Bianca has been coming. So I know in the future we will see each other, but I think that would be you know, I had a moment with her on SmackDown recently that I had a blast. But really I mean, it could be anybody. There's no one like, oh, I definitely want her.
And then what about Rhea Ripley? Do you think your paths will meet again, maybe in the Rumble?
Oh, 100%. In the Rumble, I don't know. I could only assume, but I definitely see in the foreseeable future.
Let's come to Francesco, who has some questions for Sportal in Italy.
Hi, Charlotte. It's a pleasure to talk with you. So we all know that the Royal Rumble is actually a very, very difficult match. What do you would you answer to those people say that professional wrestling is actually fiction?
Ask me. So what do I say that people say wrestling is fiction?
Yes.
Oh, it's very hard to explain to someone exactly what we do. Like it takes being an actor, it takes being an athlete, it takes being not an actor that just films and cuts, like live performances. It takes being a leader, it takes teamwork. I mean, there's just so many things and moving parts that go into what we do. Like I played sports, I played volleyball in college, and I still think this sport is the hardest sport. It's so dynamic. But in terms of calling it fake, I think that's something that we have faced for years now, and that's why I take it so personal when the fans are so critical, when they have no idea what our bodies go through, or what it feels like in there. There's like no grace given. But I always say, like, stick out your finger if you think it's fake, and then I pull on it backwards, and I'm like, you feel that? Is that fake?
Yes, and you talk about movies and acting, and can you tell a TV series that you actually like the most, and in what movie or TV series you would imagine yourself as an actress?
Oh, well, I loved Money Heist. Not that I see myself as a bank robber, but Barbarians, I've watched the first season. I could see myself playing a warrior, a little something predated, where I'm disheveled and kind of messy, like a dominant character that has more of a presence in terms of like being able to be physical in the role. What else am I watching? I watched El Dragon. I think really any action series. That would be
We're gonna come next to Renzo, who I believe is in Peru. Renzo, am I right in thinking that? Renzo, go ahead.
Hi, nice to meet you, Charlotte. Can you hear me?
Sí, mucho gusto.
Hola, mucho gusto. I hope you are well after a presentation of the WWE Superstar Spectacle, greeting from Peru. Well, you have won everything a WWE female wrestler can aspire. 13-time champion, Royal Rumble winner, winner in a WrestleMania edition. And I list all of this because I read the statement of your father in an interview saying that you're not only the best woman actually in WWE, but also the best female wrestler of all times. Do you consider that you have already reached that point in your career? And in any case, what do you think you will be missing to accomplish it? Thank you.
I want to be I want to be the best. I think my willingness and wanting to always learn and get better helps, but I think it's hard, you know, when it's all said and done, it's easier to look back and say, man, I was pretty good. I think I'm up there as being, you know, one of the most athletic. But I mean, there's so many talent. I mean, everyone has their own favorite flavor. Yeah, I mean, I want to be remembered as the best one day. 100%.
Okay. We are going to come next to Christian. Be waiting patiently for in Germany.
Hey, Charlotte. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah. So you talked about the break you took last year, and how did maybe stepping away for a while maybe help in getting a new perspective on being a WWE superstar? And also, while you took your break, did you like get a chance to spend time on things you are passionate about that you maybe didn't have the time for the last couple of years when you were always on the road?
Well, unfortunately, I was like, oh, it's during COVID. So it was a little frustrating, but I think in terms of just mentally resting my mind and my body was so good for me. Like being on the road for those 6 years nonstop and not always having to be on, like being on mentally is just, to me, as hard as like physically being in the ring. Whether it's media appearances, signings. I mean, we have so many jobs within one job, right? But just being at my house and being able to decompress and waking up going, oh, I can eat whatever I want. I don't have live events this weekend. But I think the hard part was like, man, the show goes on with or without you. And I think that as a performer, I know it was for me, kind of stings. It's like, wait, yeah, you're right. They don't need you. So I think that makes you more eager and antsy to get back when you can. But if anything, it just made me really realize how much, you know, I do love being in the ring. And it's the one thing that I love more than anything in terms of like, that's what I want to do with my life, is be a performer, like being able to create and that was another thing. Like when I'm in the ring, like feeling like you're in control of people's emotions, whether it's wanting them to feel good or bad, or, you know, creating these stories. Like I missed being creative. Cause that's how, like, I feel that is what I bring to the table that I like doing. But I started Spanish classes, so that was awesome. I've been wanting to do that. And then just caught up on like 6 years of sleep.
Great, thank you. Good having you back now.
Thank you.
Right, we've got time for a final couple, so let's make our way through. Let's come first to Dom Smith over at Soundsphere.
Hi, Charlotte. Nice to hear you and see everybody.
My question for you is, given that you've given the success you've achieved in the Royal Rumble, obviously numerous title wins through your career, and growing up around success as well, how has your definition of that? How has your definition of success changed from the beginning of your career up until this point?
I think it's changed by, there's always that first time you hold your first title. There's always winning the Raw or winning the SmackDown. But then it's realizing, you can exude being a champion inside or outside of the ring. And what that looks like and what that means. I think learning that and growing as a character with confidence.
Okay, and what about, have you changed personally? How have you changed personally? Obviously, in your own life, you've been through so much. You've experienced the highs and lows of sports entertainment. You've obviously dabbled in entertainment and TV and all that. How have you sort of changed personally as you've grown and developed?
Much thicker skin on some days. I think that's a hard one. It's like bringing your real self to the performance and what that looks like, not being scared to fail. Like, unless you fail, that's the only way to grow. Like at first I'm like, oh, I can't fall, I can't slip, that can't happen. And now I think it's, when those moments do come, it's like really not taking them for granted and going, okay, how do I learn from this, or how do I get better? Maybe making or taking bigger risks is key.
We're going to head to that fated spot, the last media question. Who is it going to be this week? Right. It's going to go to Ash Rose. All eyes on Ash. Make it a good one.
Thanks, Joel. Thanks for the pressure. Hi, Charlotte. How you doing?
Hi, good.
Good stuff. I wanted just to talk with the Royal Rumble. Where does it rank in your kind of list of accolades, and how would it rank to win it again, to be the first two-time Women's Rumble? And then finally, I'll give you the fabled Rumble question. If you could choose a surprise entrant to come out on Sunday, who would you like to see?
I don't know. I don't know. So winning last year was so out of left field. Like, I think sometimes the fans take what I say and get confused by it. Like, I remember one time I was like, man, I really needed that win. Like, they didn't understand, like, what win, Charlotte? Like, you've won so many things. Like, they don't really I don't think it's like sometimes like I have to explain myself, but winning the Rumble last year, like going on a roller coaster of just not really, storylines come and go and change, but like I had no idea what was going into the spring, or wasn't even in a storyline. So winning the Rumble was like, oh man, I'm back in, like, there's Mania season. Like, I didn't see what was going to happen in January, February. Like, I had been in a tag team with Becky, so that really felt like another moment that was going to change the course of the spring for me. And just, I guess, the emotions from the second year when Becky had won, and being in the last two, and then being in the last two again, and still having it and taking what it takes to win it. Like, that's a win in itself. like still being in that role and still being considered someone who can win. And then this year, like I said earlier in an answer, I feel like every year our divisions just get deeper and deeper as this women division has grown, especially coming from NXT. Anyone really, like, instead of having 2 favorites to win, like, I feel like I could list like 6 girls that could potentially win the Rumble this year. And that just makes for a more exciting Rumble. Like, you don't go, oh, I could see Bayley winning. You go, no, I could see Bayley winning. I could see Bianca Belair winning. I could see Rhea Ripley winning. I could see myself winning again. I could see Alexa Bliss winning. Like, it's such a bigger list. Or maybe a surprise win. And then in terms of who would I want to see come out? I think we've had the opportunity to have so many of the legends come back, which is exciting. So I guess anyone from the Dusty Classic really, I think, would be exciting, because anytime someone from the NXT brand gets to be a part of the Rumble, it adds so much.
Ash, you did a good job. Well done. Thank you, everyone, so much. I guess the only way to end is, look, Charlotte, as people have said, you're going to be pulling double duty at Rumble this Sunday. What should we all be looking forward to, both from the Rumble matches themselves, but also from your tag team match against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler?
I'm looking forward to the rematch. There's no one else that I'd want in my corner than Asuka. And I just know that we not only are great enemies, but we're great partners. And we're going to do whatever it takes to retain. And then when it comes to the Rumble, just staying focused and ready. And hopefully, I'm not sure which match is going to come first, but whatever match does come first, I will take that as my warm up for the next match.